right, welcome to another episode of Mom and I Unfiltered, the podcast. Today we are here to talk about fun, its power, its impact on our lives, and just in general.
Absolutely.
Why it's good, right?
And who doesn't love fun? Come on.
Yeah. So fun. This past weekend we were all together as a family, and we played the game Fishbowl, where you write things down and everybody reaches in, pulls something out. You've got to act it out. We played Telestrations, which is where you draw out pictures, which I think we learned that I am a horrible drawer.
Well, there's a few among us that shouldn't probably be doing it, but it's fine.
We played Bad Interviews, where we got to act out things, and I got a little too into character, which is why I have a lovely hat on today.
You and your father both had a tendency to go places that were just like, I'm going to pee my pants now because I'm laughing so hard. Because, yeah, it's fun.
It's one of the things I look forward to when we all get together, family vacation or at the holidays. We play these games, and they're silly or crass, or sometimes we find out they're dumb, but we have fun doing it, and that makes you want to go back and do that again. And so that's what I think about when I think about coming home. All of us together is I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to have some fun snacks, and I'm going to play some fun games and laugh.
As a parent,
and I know I'm going to laugh.
It's really fun to have all of your children together and watching everybody kind of relax and laugh, especially with you. I don't see you laugh that hard on a regular basis. So for us, it's so funny to see you doubled over crying, laughing. Connor doubled over crying, laughing. Megan doubled over crying, laughing. Because it's not, you're all adults and you have your own lives. So it's not something we get to see all the time. So for us, that's the joy. But that's also what makes us laugh even harder and brings more fun to it. Because you're all just, there's nothing going on. There's nothing pressing on your brain. It's just being silly and having fun.
And I don't laugh like that normally anyway.
It's great.
I mean, unless the kids do something super funny. But now they're getting older and they're kind of sassy. So the funny things are less. When they're toddlers, they do more funny things to make you double over. Now they just kind of make you go, what am I looking at?
And they're not even teenagers yet. But just wait.
No. I'm going to have to make
and
fun
you can.
then, I think.
And you can.
Yeah, we will. And so today, we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to start with why fun matters, and then we're going to talk about fun in childhood, some of our memories from childhood, lessons from that.
Yep.
And then fun in adulthood, and then kind of end on rediscovering fun across generations and fun ideas and things that people can take away to do. And we're going to talk about somebody who was a neighbor of ours for a long time and built a whole business on fun, which I think is really cool and makes me kind of jealous.
I know. It makes us all jealous. And I do think he's probably got the best job on the planet. Yeah.
So let's talk about why fun matters. And aside from the obvious, I think there's health benefits to it. You said doubling over laughing. I think we should do that once a week. We all should. It should be good for us.
In a climate like we are today, whether it's political, whether it's day to day, there are horrific things that happen every day. If you can find a sparkle of fun at some moment in the day, I think that, yes, health benefit wise, it's huge. I think mentally we have to have it. I think that mentally, if you don't have anything fun going on, it is debilitating. But I think that if you don't have that, then you lose your sense of, I always say it's like that childlike essence that we all kind of have. And that's attractive. It's attractive within ourselves. It's attractive to other people. And who doesn't want to be with someone who is joyful, who is positive, who is, I don't even want to say troublemaker, but I think of people who I know that I'm like, I can't wait to be with them because I know we're going to laugh. We're probably going to get into trouble. Not, horrible, but that's going to be fun. it's it's a trickle down. If you're with somebody that's fun, you end up having fun.
Yeah. And for as long as people have been around, we've wanted
Yeah.
and been drawn to that. I think back on the last trips we took with the kids, Niagara Falls, people were going over in barrels and cars. I love cars, and racing cars started almost immediately after cars were invented. And fast forward to COVID, and who was that actor that did the good
Oh,
positive stories?
Jim.
I'm talking about from The
Jim.
Office,
Yeah,
Jim Halpert, but his name is not his real name.
I know. Me too.
I don't know. I should know. Anyway, uh, pop culture is not my thing. And so the fun, I mean, it's something we all try to go after and accomplish, and we want to do. TikTok and Instagram, these things were all built on the premise that people want to look at something for
Hmm.
a few seconds and laugh. And I think it's an integral
Oh,
part
absolutely.
of human beings. And it's what led me to Elizabeth. We went on our first date was supposed to be like a business dinner kind of. She was looking for ways to sell her furniture at the time to the baseball team I was working for, and I was not, but it was a business dinner for her, and then I was looking forward to her expensing that dinner, and we sat down at a steak restaurant, like you would for business, and we both looked at the menu, we looked at each other, and I was like, what are you gonna get? She's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't really want to eat here. Do you want to go somewhere else? And she's like, yeah, I know a great little Irish pub. And I was like, yeah, let's go there. And from that moment on, I mean, we started, I forget how many hours it was. It was like a 14-hour date. It went well into the next morning of us just going places, breaking into the baseball stadium and with a pack of Bud Lights we bought at the store to watch a basketball game on the big screen. And that fun that we had was the thing that connected me to
Yeah,
her and made me want to spend time with her. And that's what we look forward to every year. We
absolutely.
plan fun because that's
Absolutely.
what
And I think
keeps
that's
us
it for
going.
most people. And it is, um, yeah, I say most people because that's how I would relate to it. Same way, same exact way. And you look to see also, how do people escape? We escape with, there are so many streaming services now. And what is the one thing they all have in common? There are a lot of comedies out there. And your comedies are going back to, television and Jackie Gleason and Lucille Ball and all of those people that for a half an hour you could escape the world and have fun. It's been a
Yeah.
part of our world forever.
What was fun like for you when you
So
were a kid?
so
Did you
this
play with
is what I
sticks
needed
and
to
hula
ask you
hoops
about.
and
So
cans?
in the notes that you had sent me, you're like, I want to know about the fun that you had, and it says favorite games: sticks, hula hoops, cans. What the hell would we be doing with cans?
Kicking them, kicking the
Yeah,
can.
no, we were no, no, we didn't kick cans around. I did play jacks, a ball and jacks, but you know,
Okay. See,
as
that's in that
sticks.
same
I got
category.
you.
I was thinking of when I wrote sticks. I was thinking of the before the hula
Yeah,
hoop,
that was
the
before
wheel
my
with the
time.
stick, and
Okay, I
you hit it.
know. You think I'm older than dirt. It's actually before my time. But see, we
I
had
know. I was just
my
kidding.
parents were silly and funny, and to this day, as a parent now looking back, with 7 children and a very hard life, having fun every day was so important to them. And I think that they instilled that in us very early. My father was the one who, we would go grocery shopping every Saturday morning. That was the thing. They'd load us in the car. We'd go to the grocery store. The first thing my father would do, to my mother's horror, would be to grab a cart and ride it all around the outside of the store. Like he would just jump on the back of the cart like he was 6. And my mother would be yelling across the parking lot, George, George. And he'd just be laughing and free as a bird and run around the cart. We all thought it was funny until, like, I think I was like 13. I was like, oh my God, that's my father. My father. But he had fun. He enjoyed doing it. We would,
I do that in the parking lot every time we go to the grocery store.
that's it.
And the kids already
Why?
look at me like,
Why?
what are
But
you
if, I
doing?
get it. Like, as you know, it's a fun thing to do. I'd be afraid I'd fall if I did it, but he was not. And we would go on picnics. They would take us, every Sunday we would find a park and have a picnic with the entire family and play games and not with sticks. We would play real games with a ball. But we always had that. That was something I think for them that was integral to getting them through maybe the week or getting them through the lack of money or the hard life that they were leading and working was to have some fun. I, to this day, will always remember there was a few days during the summer when it would be really, really hot. And of course, my younger brother and I'd be home from school, no school in the summer. And my mother worked nights, my dad worked during the day. And there were a couple summer days where, she'd either see us just like moping around or whatever, or she needed it. And she'd say, hey, get on your bikes. I made us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We're riding our bikes to the park. Like, what? Like that? That was so much fun. And what an adventure. We weren't close to the park. It took us 20 minutes on our bikes to ride our bikes to the park, to sit and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, have a couple turns on the swing set, get back on our bikes and go home because she had to get ready for work. That was just fun. It was just spontaneous. It wasn't planned. It was, hey, it's a great day. Let's get on our bikes. That to me is that's something that's then built into you. It's built into you from a very young age that, yeah, having a little bit of fun every day is a good thing. It's a light.
And it doesn't have to
No,
be like this tremendous thing. Like you don't have to
no.
go fly to Europe to have fun. You can get on
And
your
a
bike
peanut
and
butter
ride
and
to the
jelly
park and
sandwich
have lunch.
and play with a stick or two. Yeah,
Yeah.
all good.
Yep. Stick. See, I knew there was a stick in there. Hit your
Of
brother with
course.
a
But
stick. One of
no
those things.
cans.
Okay. We used to play. I would play with cans. They still sell the kids when they were little. They still play with the string attached where
Oh
it's
yeah,
you
yeah,
put it to
yeah.
your ear. The can the what do you
The
call that? Like
back
the
in the
can
day actual
radio.
telecommunications. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think some of the funny things were uh, April Fool's Day. Not
Yeah.
at the time. I
You
was
were not
very,
happy.
very disappointed. This is probably something for the stories episode. But why don't you tell us how you had fun as an adult? For me, when I was a
Oh
child,
my
on
gosh.
April Fool's Day.
Again, I thought it was going to be this massive, like, such a fun idea. I didn't tell dad. I just like did it on my own. And I thought I'm going to make a nice dinner. It's going to appear to be a beautiful dinner, but it's not going to be. So I took our glasses, house glasses, made jello, put them in the fridge with straw in it so they looked like it was fruit juice. The idea was going to be like, you don't have to have milk or water for dinner. You can have fruit juice. Big deal.
Like Kool
So
Aid.
did
Yes.
that. And then I forget what it was instead of mashed potatoes. It was ice cream.
Ice cream.
Thank you. Instead, I was going to do mashed potatoes, and instead, I substituted vanilla ice cream and whipped it up so it looked like it. And then I was going to do chicken nuggets, and instead of chicken nuggets at the time, they had these chick sticks. They looked like little chicken nuggets, but it was like toffee, but they were coated in this light brown, like powdered sugar stuff. And I put those on the plate. And I remember being hysterical, like, this is going to be so much fun. You guys were all sitting down, and I brought the food out, and I sat there. Everybody was happy but you. You burst into tears. I thought they were mashed potatoes.
And now, if somebody put that plate in front of me, I would be
But at the time,
so
I was like,
happy.
what? How are you upset about this? Like,
I wanted my
yeah,
Kool Aid, my
yeah.
nuggets, and my
And
mashed
that's not what you
potatoes.
got. Not what you got. It was the funniest.
Oh.
Like, you left the table and went to your room. You were just not happy with me. The look you gave me was like, how dare you mess with my meal? I think Connor was like 1 or 2. He was probably 2. He was as happy as a clam. Megan was thrilled because she never liked any real food to begin with. So for her, this was the perfect meal, but not you.
She didn't have to run to her room to spit out her chicken.
Right, right. Yeah, not you.
Well, that's so you guys did have a lot of fun, and you helped us have a lot of fun. I mean, for me, it was easy
Yeah.
because we could go outside. I think the generations always are trying to do more for the previous one, and you
Every
all tried to
Tuesday
do a
night.
lot for us and
Every
gave us
Tuesday night was
plenty.
you guys got to pick, we rotated what the meal was going to be and what our activity was going to be. Megan was always dress up. She wanted us all to dress up. You usually would choose a game. Connor would choose like hide and go seek because he was little. But that was a Tuesday night thing. That was because it was the one night of the week that no one had anything going on. You guys didn't have an activity. Dad was usually home from work on time. I didn't have to work on Tuesday nights. So that became like, that was a fun night. That was just a be silly night and do whatever night. Always fun. Always fun. Again, I don't know if you have any memories of those because I
I,
feel like your memory bank is not
no,
there.
yeah, I don't know what happened. I had too much fun. Uh, but I do remember, and this was more when I got into high school and Patrick got older and we could do some stuff. But I think we did it in middle school too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did it in middle school. My friends actually coined it the name. They would say, "Are you taking off school?" You would take
Yeah.
us off school and call us in sick, which nowadays you need to have
Yeah. All the
a
things.
permission and an excused absence. This is ridiculous. But the next day I'd come to school and my buddies would be like, "Oh, did you have a Riley Family Fun Day?" And that's just now what I think about and what it's called. But we didn't call it that. But that's what it was. You would
Yeah.
take us out of school and just say, "Hey, you're not going to school today.
We're
We
going
are going
skiing.
to
We're
I
going
don't
to
know,
go ice skating.
go to some
Yeah.
park. We go skiing. We go to the movies. We're just going to
Yeah.
skip school and spend time together." And that was one excellent quality time because everybody was busy and but it was also just a fun break. I mean, every day we're learning
Absolutely.
for the rest of our life anyway. And what better way to have fun than to be like, guess what? We're just gonna go just do something
And I remember coming up with that
spontaneous.
idea. I always called it Make a Memory Day. I remember coming
That's
up with
it.
that
That was it.
idea
Yep.
when everybody did get so busy, and it felt like we didn't have connection time. And parents, you know this, weekends or baseball, or we had Megan doing horseback, we had you doing football, soccer, baseball. Connor, same thing. And there was hockey, and there were all these things going on. And throw into that, Dad and I are both working. So I remember sitting on the couch one night going, yeah, I don't like this feeling. I don't like, we need to regroup. And so we had a conversation about it, and Dad was like, yeah, let's do it. And the first time, I think it was just going, I think we went ice skating and got lunch or whatever. But I remember being so excited to wake you guys up and go, because again, and it was not any particular day of the week. It was whatever worked. But I remember being able to go into your room and just like you guys thinking you were getting up for school and just saying, yeah, no, it's a make a memory day. We're not doing, no, put your play clothes on. We're out. We're just peacing out. And it was so much fun. I don't know that you could do that today with a lot of kids because of the phones and all the technology and stuff like that. But I think it's important. It's important. And it's fun that you even remember it.
Yeah.
And again, it's just fun. It's just silly, and it's that reconnection time. It's important.
And you'd also, speaking of like our family stuff, you would save all your change for vacation. I think we might talk about this in another episode, but save all your change for vacation so that
Yeah,
we could use that just for fun, to do something
yeah,
fun. And that was like, you don't have to have a lot of
yeah,
money to have fun. As you mentioned when you were little, and even the things we did for Make a Memory,
yeah.
we didn't have to go anywhere. We could have just gone and
I
played
think that there was
board games all day.
one time that we ended up, and this I think ended up turning into This is a night from hell as far as I was concerned. But we went to Blockbuster and rented a bunch of movies. And the whole idea was we were going to watch movies not only all day, but then all night. We were going to stay up all night and just watch movies. And it was fun until we got to Dad's movie, which was Gods and Generals, which, why?
I do remember this day.
Why? Why?
Everybody went to sleep.
We all just like passed out, like, this is not okay with me. And I remember being so angry the next day, like, who puts that on? Like, and
And it was two VHS tapes too, wasn't it?
I remember when
Yeah.
part one was done thinking, oh, thank God.
So-
No. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Sorry if anybody who likes who's out there likes Gods and Generals. I thought it was one of the most longest, boringest movies. Ugh.
It was riveting.
For Dad. He was the only one glued to the TV.
Yeah. I think it's important to do those things, regardless of how boring the ending ends. All the fun that we have when we're little creates those memories, gives us the character, helps build creativity. Even this past week when we were with you all, Patrick loved getting out to board games and playing Stratego, and Elizabeth and I still play that every now and again. But those are good skills to have, and you're not, you're still having fun with somebody else right there in front of you. But it also, builds resilience into you and teaches them to prioritize life and the value that we
not
put
only
on
that,
our freedom and how lucky we are that we can go do these things.
But it also for them gives them a very secure sense of importance because someone else is taking that time to spend with them. I think that's the bigger piece of all of it. It is, you're important enough that nothing else matters right now. It's you. It's the time that you and I have together. Very similar to this. Being able to do this podcast is for me that. It's very cool. And again, that brings fun, and it's all encompassing.
Well, you bring us into our second segment of fun in adulthood. And so all the responsibilities we have, I'm trying to work a lot. Elizabeth's working a lot. You've had a lot going on and a lot of work, and the responsibilities of being parents and being adults and having bills and what's going on in the world can really, as you mentioned earlier, overshadow fun and create this kind of dread cloud if you let it hang over you. So for me, if we think about what was a moment I thought maybe we needed fun to come back and be a big part, the last year or so I think is a good example, because the kids have started doing a ton of activities. Every night of the week we have something except for Friday or Saturday, and it's just so overwhelming, and it's hard enough for Elizabeth and I to make time once a week to go on a date and have fun on our own, let alone have fun with everybody. But I think COVID was an easy moment in time for everybody listening and in the world to really figure out, how do I have fun in such a dreary or unpleasant situation as it was. And you had a good idea for all of us that I loved. And I'm going to put at the end of this video, I'm going to put in clips from what we did, just so stay tuned for that. But why don't you tell us what did you come up with during COVID to help just add a little bit of joy to our weeks?
What we ended up doing was, and we were very fortunate that we had technology to do this, but once a week on a Friday night, we call it our Friday happy hour. And we would all Zoom in. You would help initiate that, and we'd all Zoom in and chit chat and talk to each other. And after the first week, it was kind of I remember sitting back and thinking, that was really good. I'm glad to see everybody, but it made me so sad because everybody was going through so much, and it was frightening because, again, at that point, no one knew a lot of what was going on. and it was frightening and scary. And, I had my dad in a nursing home, and like all these things were hard. And I remember week 2 looking at dad going, we got to be able to do something. We have to do something to lighten this mood. So the first thing we did was, at the time, I had just purchased one of those baby mats that you lay under and you play with an activity thing. And I said to dad, can we use this? Can we do something with this? And so he attached small airplane bottles of liquor to each of the little activity things. And as we began that first Zoom, he was just laying under it, batting away at the little bottles. And then it became, okay, every week it's going to be someone else's turn to do something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a story. I don't care if you sing to me. I don't care what it is, but let's do something silly that for at least a couple days prior to, you have to think about, oh God, Friday's coming. What are we going to do? That became a hoot and a half, especially because Connor wanted no part of this. And Connor, when it was his turn, would always just DoorDash us McDonald's. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He
He did
wasn't
not want
dressing
to
up.
dress up.
He wasn't, no. He said, we will just DoorDash you food. That's our fun gift to you. I thought it was a hoot. And it was fun to be able to come up with stuff that was different. Megan and Brian did that whole Star Wars Jabba the Hutt kind of recreation of a scene of the movie. I think I loved your take on creating this entire video that I still show people, and they're like, how much time did he take?
Too much.
It was
Too
an
much time. It's
entire
like 2 days.
MTV video, for God's sakes, to music. It was a lot. Dad and I were more like, what do we have in the costume box? What do we? But that was fun, and it was silly, and it was fun for us to see everyone's reactions. Maybe especially when he and I dressed up. I was Keith Urban and he was Carrie Underwood. And for him to wear a blonde wig and sing songs, and it was, I loved all of it, especially seeing my grandson look at the camera and go, is that Papa? But it was fun and it was silly, and yeah.
Yeah. And so even though in the toughest of times, we all had an easy excuse not to be fun and to complain about whatever, you can always find a way
Absolutely.
to do that. So today, like, how do you prioritize having fun now that dad's retired and you're taking a break? Like, what do you do to prioritize fun right
It,
now?
it, it's sad, but it's true that every day I feel closer to who my dad was. When I got up today, we have, and here in Pennsylvania, we don't get a whole lot of snow. We should. We don't. Today, they called school yesterday, no school. Going to have a snow day. We're expecting maybe 3 to 6 inches of snow. Right now, there might be an inch on the ground. I woke up thinking today's going to be a day where I can get out there and make snow angels in the front lawn. Like, I can't wait. I woke up thinking about that. Now, I've got so much going on with my back and a pinched nerve and all this stuff. No, mm-mm. I'll take extra Advil. I'm going to go out, make some snow angels. Hopefully, there's enough snow. I have my snowman box already that's got a hat and his nose, and I cannot wait. For me, it's very easy to find fun every day. I'm very fortunate for that. But again, that's because it was instilled in me super early in life. Yeah, I will.
You got to
You
get up
choose
and
it.
choose it.
I also, it's so funny because there are times I apologize to people because I think that there are times I look at the world more childlike than a 61-year-old woman should look at the world. But I love that. And I love being in awe of things. And throwing myself out there today. There are going to be neighbors looking outside going, what in the hell? Did she fall? Did she fall? Should we help?
Does she need help? Are those are those help arms?
What is she doing?
Is this the Christmas story? What's
She
happening?
can't reach her I've fallen and I can't get up watch? Like what? What?
Yeah,
I every day is fun.
it is. It is good to. It's fun for me now to rediscover
Mm-hmm.
fun that I used to have. So fun has changed over times, and before kids, I got into competitive shooting, and that was so much fun for me. And then after kids, I had less of that and more. I got into
Sure.
search and rescue and being outside and like having fun. And hiking's always been fun. But now that the kids are rollerblading, riding bikes, like we Santa brought us bikes, and so we all have been every day since Santa's come biking. Even though it's cold or rainy or whatever, we just take one lap around the neighborhood on a bike, and it's fun. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm like, yeah, let's put on our gloves and hats. This is fine. We can do this. Um, Puzzles, this podcast, like it is interesting to see how
Yeah.
you can create new things like the podcast, but you can also go revisit things that you used to do when you were little, pretending you don't fall off your bike, and have
And
just as much
absolutely
fun.
have just as much fun. And again, it changes your not only your perspective on the entire day, but and you're very very good at this bringing fun to other people. Whether it's in a meeting, whether it's we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Behind you, you had the Grinch. And for work, I'm imagining anytime you did a call with anybody that could see that, they got a little chuckle out of it. That to me is the best possible thing that we can give to anybody else. Because again, working with the public for years, and you know this too, you never know when you're talking to somebody what their mental state is at the moment. You don't know the news that they heard or, you know, whatever. They could have just had the crappiest day. But they tune into you and you're sitting there either with that hat on or the Grinch behind you, and immediately you've brought them something. That's fabulous.
I might have to wear this
I
hat
love it.
today later at work.
I love it. And when I saw that hat,
Maybe not. Maybe not in the current configuration. My
well,
cone head shape. But you're right. It is, and I like doing that because that's who I am. I like to have fun. I
yes.
believe all of us like to have fun. I don't know that there's
But I think
anybody that doesn't like to have fun. They might
they may have
pretend they don't,
forgotten
but
it, or they may have. And again, it's a choice. It's definitely a choice. But I also think for some people, it's much more difficult to make that choice than it is for others.
yeah, yeah, and that's hard, especially if they don't have the
Right.
family to help them do that or friends that want to do that. And there's some people that are just ingrained in work, but you can, you can still build. You could build fun into that if you wanted to.
Definitely.
A good example is our
Yeah.
friend.
He is the power of fun emulated. Great guy.
Yeah. So Dave Raymond, I'll put the link in the chat. Dave Raymond used to be the Philly Phanatic. That's the Philadelphia Phillies baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
That's their mascot, for those of you who don't follow sports. He used to be the mascot, and all he did was have fun. Just Google the Phanatic on YouTube. You can watch all his fun antics. He turned that into a business, teaching people how to be mascots, but then that morphed into public speaking and working with corporations and businesses. And I think he's been on ABC,
Yeah.
Good Morning America, Jimmy Kimmel, probably the HBO, all sorts of publications and televised appearances
Yeah.
just to talk
And
about fun.
and that's
That's what he
and
does.
it's
Just talk
not
about how to
that
have more
he
fun.
is stepping outside of his zone to do it. That's who he is. That he's very genuine in that regard. He is extremely empathetic, but very much driven by joy. And again, like everyone else, his life always hasn't been joyful. he's had ups and downs as well. But his choice to put that forward to help others see their potential to have fun and how that changes who we are inside. That moment of pure silly joy of going on a bike ride or going rollerblading or whatever it is, and how it affects other people. It's extremely impressive to me. And like I said, I think he's got the best job, bar none, because
Yeah.
spreading fun.
Well, and it's and it's there's so much, yeah, and there's so much truth to it. Just think, like this
Yeah,
makes my work day more fun. But if I could do something like this and be more, and I'm starting to, but be more of myself during work,
yeah,
like how much more fun is that? And then how much more happy does that make me as an employee, or as a leader? If you choose to have more fun, how much more
most
does your
certainly.
team want to follow you? So there's so many positives to unleashing fun into your personal life, into your professional life. Like
No,
there's not really a downside unless you're in some crazy industry where
no.
they're just like
And it
no
enables
fun.
others. It enables others to have some fun. I go back to
Yeah,
for several years. Dad and I at Christmas time would I call the local children's ward at the hospital and say, how many kids do you have up there this year for that are going to be there at Christmas? And they would tell me and they'd give me ages. And Dad and I would go shopping, and we would show up 2 days before Christmas, and the nurses would know we were coming, and they would set up a tree in the hallway. Dad and I would come with our Santa hats on, and we wouldn't wrap anything, but all these gifts would appear underneath the tree for all the kids that were going to be there, and whether their siblings were going to be there with them, whatever. It wasn't even knowing that the kids were going to be happy. The nurses' faces were just lit up, and they were so excited. Like, this is so great. This is going to be so much fun. We can't wait. And thank you so much. Like, they were so giddy about it that by the third or fourth year we ended up doing it, a couple of the nurses would say, oh, we started a collection and we're going to do some stuff too. It was a snowball effect of we're just going to have fun, and this is a very difficult time of the year to have a child in the hospital, but we're the nurses, we're caring for them, but we're going to have fun doing it too. We're going to have fun. It's
yeah.
it's like I said, it's a trickle down effect. You can definitely push somebody in that direction. It's very fun.
So that's kind of a good that brings a good point to mind. I can't talk today. Talking about like bringing different people together for fun. Everybody listening, maybe they're thinking about ways they can have more fun in their day, and they should. But also, there's folks that might have grandchildren or great grandchildren and thinking like, I want to have fun with them. I don't know how to have fun with them because
Yeah.
they are on this thing all day. Uh, what are some things that like multi generational families or individuals could do to have fun with their older
I
or
think it has to
younger
start with a conversation.
relatives?
It starts with a conversation. It starts with me as the grandparent wanting to know more about what makes one of my grandchildren excited and happy, and then trying to place myself in that moment. It could be baking, it could be making friendship bracelets. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be sitting and telling a story. Right now, Patrick, at the age of 8, is interested in hearing stories about things. Sitting and having a conversation, having a story, and having it be fun can bring that. It could be a story about my father. It could be a story about something silly that happened. It could be a story about anything. And that's going to bring fun to that moment. And again, it's a shared experience. It's a shared experience. It could be the silliest thing. It could be playing jacks or playing with a can or playing with sticks. It doesn't have to be, you know, great grandma doesn't have to get on rollerblades to have fun with their grandkid. It can be something smaller and, like I said, as long as it's something the kid wants to do, you can't sit there and say, okay, Nana's going to knit with you now. Like, if they're not into it, it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. And you can make this. I like the stories one the best because stories are the easiest way to connect. And we've got another episode on stories, but that's the easiest way I think to bring bring that connection and start that fun. And you can make up stories too. There's you. I think you bought the kids a game. Was it the? Did you buy
Yes.
them the campfire stories game? Okay, so we did that last night, I think, or maybe the night before. And it's just a bunch of random, like a sly fox, and then so it has a like a character, and then it has an action. Swam across to a deserted island. So you have these two cards,
Cool.
and then you have to make a story out of them. And then you add a card, and you tell a different story. And so there's that imagination, and that had us laughing, and it was fun, and even for Elizabeth and I, it was still something fun to do, and watch the kids double over laughing when the fox fell out of the tree and was carried by an eagle to an island, and they all ate from a bear who cooked food. Like,
So
it was
that
interesting.
again. It doesn't have to be anything over the top. It's just fun and silly
Yeah.
and enjoyable.
So if you're listening, write us in, write a comment. How did you
Yeah.
like to have fun growing up? What were some of the things you did that were fun? We'd love to hear it. We can talk about it on the next one if we get some good comments there. But everybody should prioritize fun. I think if you can, even if it's the night before, whenever you do your weekly planning, maybe on Sundays or even the morning you wake up, find some way to incorporate, hey, at noon, I've got a half an hour. I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to watch a
Absolutely.
comedian. I'm going to draw a letter. I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to laugh. Find some way to have fun and build it into your day. Start with once a week, and then
And
see if you can
a
do it
lot
every
of that
day.
I think too is it's
good.
there on a daily basis. We end up having to give so much of ourselves to whoever is in our life, our employees, our spouses, our children, our families, whomever. Giving yourself a little bit of fun refills that well, I think. You can't be everything to everyone if you aren't balanced on the inside. And just giving yourself a little bit of fun, no matter what it is, like you said, reading an article for 5 minutes if it brings you joy, watching a television show for 5 minutes if it brings you joy, going to getting French fries for lunch if it makes you happy, that's fun. Do it.
Unless your doctor said not to, then don't do it. But if
Right.
they didn't, then go for it.
Well,
Or
and I
have
didn't
ice
say
cream instead of
drink.
mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Those are great. I mean, it's good points, and it doesn't have to be.
Yes.
It's varying levels of fun. It could be something small, it could be big. Prioritize it, and we're only here
So
for a
have
short period of
fun.
time. You're here right now. Yep. You don't know if you're here tomorrow. It's not guaranteed.
Have fun
So
today.
have fun
And and
today.
and
Leave that
watch
legacy.
me go make a snow angel outside. It's going to happen.
You're on video. Keep going. Keep going.
All right. Well,
Thanks.
thank you everybody for joining us for another episode. Mom and I podcast Unfiltered. Today's topic was fun. Hope you had some fun,
See ya.
and we'll see you next time.